Okay, let me gallery. Hey, hey, can everyone hear me? Oh, look, people are waving. That's so cool. Yes, yes. So I hope everyone's getting ready to breathe. We're all going to have a Jewish breathing experience together. So Chedva breathing meditation was taught by our beloved teacher, Rav Yitzhak Ginsburg. He It's written about in great detail in Ivrit in his book Essa Einai, I Lift Up My Eyes, one of the brown books, original brown books of Rav Yitzhak's teaching. And so we're going to talk about it. Now, it could be helpful for some people to, when we start to do it, to have like, if you have like a Chabad sitter or any sitter with an Aleph-based chart, it could be useful. I'm going to give everyone 32 seconds. If you want to get it, it can be helpful if you have an Aleph base. If you didn't, especially if you didn't learn the Aleph base at 3, if you learned it at 23, it could be helpful. Okay. So now we have our equipment. We have our lungs, we have our Aleph base chart. So let's talk about it. Okay, the word chedva. There's a lot of words for joy in Hebrew. Chedva is the cutting edge of joy. Like remember we learned about Yisro Chad, his kind of sharp. So it's the cutting edge of joy. So you can see the advantages of having an association of breathing with the cutting edge of joy, right? Breathing and the cutting edge of joy, because we're breathing and we may as well really have a great time while we're breathing. Let's get the most out of it. Okay, so the word for breathing, neshima in Hebrew, there's 4 stages in Jewish breathing. This is from the Baal Shem Tov. So the 4 stages, I'll say them first in Hebrew. I'll even spell them. Breathing in is called she'ifa, which is Shin, Aleph, Yud, Pei, Hey. Shin, Aleph, Yud, Pei, Hey. She'ifa is breathing in. Breathing in. That's step 1 of breathing. So we're going to go over the stages. And you might not, if you didn't realize before that there were 4 stages of breathing, we're going to talk about it. And this is very restful, as I'll repeat. I do this every night before I go to sleep, even for a few minutes, because it clears your mind completely. And that has a lot of advantages. Okay, shi'ifa. Then there's a holding state called blima, base lamed yud mem hey. And that's like holding the breath before exhaling. The exhale is called nishifa, nun shin yud pei hey. Nishifa is breathing out. And the 4th stage is called menucha, which is the resting stage before the next breath. So each breath has these 4 stages of inhaling, holding, breathing out, and resting. Okay. So at first, when you first hear it, it can seem, how am I possibly going to do this? But it becomes quite natural with a little practice. Okay. So how it's introduced. The first stage in doing it, this is where our Aleph-based chart can come in handy. The in-breath, the inhaling, that first initial she'ifa, while doing it in one's mind, one thinks, or says in your mind, otherwise known as thinking, Aleph, Beis, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, Vav, Zayin, Ches. Right? Ches is the 8th letter. So we're breathing in for Ches, or Chet, if you want to be more Zionistic. Okay. So as you breathe as we breathe in our minds, we're thinking Aleph, Beis, Gimel, Daled, Hey, Vav, Zayin, Ches. Okay. And actually, to do this, you only have to know the Aleph base up to Ches, which is very helpful for beginners. There's more complicated ones, Well, you have to know the whole Aleph base, but we're starting with only knowing up to Ches. I think everyone will pass that quiz. Okay, so we breathe in. So that's the first letter. What's the next letter in Chedva? So Chedva, by the way, since we're spelling things, is Ches, Daled, Vav, Hey. 4 letters, just like the 4 stages of our breathing. So we breathe in as we count Aleph through Ches. Then we hold, that's the Daled of Chedva. As we hold, we do Aleph, Beis, Gimel, Daled. And you can do it as fast or slow as you want so that you're not gasping. Like, in other words, if it's hard in the beginning to that holding the breath, it's only 4 letters and you can do it quickly. Then the breathing out is for the Vav of Chedva. So as we're breathing out, we're thinking Aleph, Beis, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, Vav. And then the rest is the Hey of Chedva, Aleph, Beis, Gimel, Dalet, Hey. Okay. So this is the initial, there's many stages of this meditation. We're going to speak about doing it with Shema Yisrael, which is what I do before I go to sleep. But this is just to get things going. Okay, this is just to get things going. So I think what we should do is just spend about 2 minutes doing it, so then it'll be clear if people, if things aren't clear, and we're going to talk about it. So we're going to take a few breaths. What we're going to do is as we inhale, we're going to think Aleph through Ches, the Ches of Chedva. We're going to hold Aleph through Daled, okay, the Daled of Chedva. We're going to breathe out Aleph through Vav, the Vav of Chedva, and then we're going to have Menucha before the next breath, just resting Aleph through Hey. Okay, so I think by practicing it, then we'll see if people have questions. So we're just going to do it. I'm like, even really just for a minute now, just so everyone understands what we're talking about. We're breathing, we're doing Chedva, Jewish breathing meditation. Yes. Okay. So we're going to start okay, just to do it briefly. Let's start. Okay, so that was just, I got 3 breaths in there. Also, you find when you're doing it, you're breathing in much more deeply, which of course is highly recommended. And in general, it's good to breathe in through the nose and breathe out through the mouth, just in general breathing. Okay, so is that clear? Does anyone have any questions on that? I just want to make that clear before we go any further. Can more people put on their cameras just for that feeling like we're all in here breathing together? I feel more secure. Okay. So so again, breathe in as long as you can comfortably breathe in, because it's good to breathe in deeply. And the rest of the stages will follow. And again, for the Aleph, for the holding, don't find yourself gasping. Just do it as much as it's comfortable. But do count Aleph, Beis, Gimel, Daled in your mind, and then the breathing out again. So the stages that don't have to be equal, but do keep the meditation in mind. And you can see even from this that we really can't think anything else while we're doing this. Like, it has an immediate clearing of the mind. Especially, it always takes a certain concentration. We have to know if we're breathing in or breathing out. It takes puts us right here into the moment. And I'm breathing. It is exciting to be actually breathing. Okay. So I think before we go on to a more complicated stage, let's just do this one more time. So the first time I did 3 breaths work. Let's do it now for about 5 or 6 breaths, and then we'll talk about the next stage. Okay, so again, let us begin. Okay, so I think everyone is probably feeling more oxygenated than usual because normally I don't breathe in so deeply or think about it. And you can see how good it is at clear. It's totally clears the mind. Okay, now this next one I'm going to teach, we'll see how it's connected. And this is the one that I generally do. It's based on Shema Yisrael, which many of us know better than the Aleph face, you know. Shema Yisrael is probably, it's a little easier. Okay, so let's look at it. The two words Shema Yisrael together have 8 letters. There's 3 letters in Shema, and there's 5 letters in Yisrael for a total of 8. So we breathe in Shema Yisrael. Then we hold for Yud Kei Vav Kei, Hashem's name, which has 4 letters, like the Dalet of Chedva. So Shema Yisrael, and since we're thinking it, we can think of how we say when we're davening, how we say Hashem's name. Then breathing out for Elokeinu, so that has 6 letters, just like the Vav of Chedva. And then the hold is Hashem Echad. So Hashem is 4 letters, Echad equals 1. That gives us conveniently the 5, the Hey of Chedva. Okay, so let's review this one. This one is really the one that I find the easiest to do. And it's good to be thinking Shema Yisrael. It's good to be breathing. It's kind of win-win. So again, we're going to breathe in. As we breathe in, we're thinking Shema Yisrael. I mean, you can visualize it. You can just think it. Whatever works. People have different kinds of minds of what's easy. If you're able to visualize the words, the 8 letter, or you can open the siddur to Shema Yisrael and look at it while you're doing this. We're very, not while you're going to sleep, but just now, if you want to, since we have our siddur for the Aleph face, if you want to open it for the Shema. Okay, so again, Shema Yisrael, we're going to breathe in. Yud Kei Vav Kei, Hashem's name, as we say in davening, we're going to hold. Elokeinu, we're going to breathe out. Hashem Echad, we're going to think or visualize during the rest before the next breath. Oh, this is so exciting. Is everyone getting ready? Okay, so let's try it. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so here we are. So I'm just going to give a very short introduction. So I see a few people just signed up since we started. We have a very good attendance here tonight. So again, we are doing Chedva breathing, Jewish breathing from Rav Yitzhak Ginsburg. It's based on the word Chedva, Ches Daled Vav Hey, the cutting edge of joy. Chedva has 4 letters, and there are 4 stages to each breath. There's inhaling, holding, exhaling, and resting. Okay, and we did the introduction and one can always do that. I mean, you can see it's an immediate mind clearer. If we want to, at any point, if we find, we're getting obsessed about thoughts or just our thoughts are not, if we want, it's a way to clear the mind because we can't, it takes concentration to simply do it. So the simplest level was inhaling while thinking Aleph through Ches, that's the eight, the Ches of Chedva, holding Aleph through Daled, exhaling while thinking Aleph through Vav, and resting before the next breath, Aleph through Hey. That's level 1, which we did. And then we did it with Shema Yisrael, which also has 8 letters. Shema Yisrael is 8 letters altogether, 3 and 5. Hashem's name is 4, like the Dalet of Chedva. Chedva Elokeinu is Vav, which is 6 letters. and Hashem Echad. So Hashem is 4 and Echad is 1. So then again, that's 5. So I think we should try it again. And then I'm going to give you some ideas of different ways it can be done. But these are the two that we're doing. These two are really the easiest. Aleph, these are the ones that were in beginning when first doing it, just to get used to the breathing and the idea of 4 steps in the breathing, and not wanting to be, short of short of breath or anything. These are the ones we're going to do. So, and I think we'll consider everyone who's here, we're going to, so now is our chance to do it. And then we'll talk, if anyone has questions, we can address them. And then we'll go on to different options which have this pattern of chedva, of the ches, of 8, of dalet, of 4, vav, of 6, and hey, of 5. Okay, so let's do it. I think we should do Shema Yisrael because it's good to be thinking about Shema Yisrael. It's good to be breathing. And again, we're getting in much more oxygen than we normally do because often we could be breathing very shallowly and not even realizing it. So this is a chance to really get the oxygen to all of those cells. Okay, so let's do it again now for a couple of minutes. Okay, let us begin. Okay. So one thing I did notice is that as we become more comfortable and relaxed in doing it, we're able to do it more and more slowly. Like we're able to breathe in for longer, like the count slows down. We're able to do it for each stage can be longer. So somebody asked, why can't we just count numbers instead of letters? Well, because it's Jewish meditation, and it's much more like the numbers are cool, but like even just the Aleph base itself is very holy. Every letter is holy, so we want to bring more holiness into the meditation. So even just the simple Aleph base, Aleph through Ches, each letter is holy. And certainly Shema Yisrael, one of the most important Pesukim, if we could say such a thing, in Chumash, one of, so deep, Shema Yisrael, yeah, all those Jewish people giving their lives saying Shema Yisrael, and we're breathing Shema Yisrael. A good thing to breathe. So that's the reason why we don't use numbers, why we use letters or Pesukim. Okay, so now I'm going to give you a few more ideas of what follows this pattern of chedva, and you can try them all. You can see which one works. Now, this one I did find more challenging, but with a little practice, you can do it, but you can see it takes concentration. Okay, here we go. Now, this time, so if you're taking notes, so this is the third possibility that I'm giving over now. So if you want to number them, the first one is only Aleph through Ches. The second one is Shema Yisrael. This third one is we breathe in. So again, it might be helpful to have the Aleph base chart. The breathing in starts the same. It's Aleph through Ches. But then when we get to the Dalet, instead of going back to Aleph, we continue through the Aleph base. So the next one is starting with Tes, Yud, Chaf, Lamed. Tes Yud Chaf Lamed. That's 4 letters. Tes Yud Chaf Lamed. But you can see it could be useful because we don't want while you're breathing in the beginning to look at the Aleph base chart while you're doing it, just so not to be gasping for breath. Then the exhale is mem through tzaddik, which is 6 letters. Mem, nun, samach, aleph, ayin, excuse me. Mem, nun, samach, ayin, pei, tzaddik. Mem, nun, samach, ayin, pei, tzaddik. And then the last is kuf, resh, shin, tuf, and a new aleph. That gives you 5 letters. Okay. So you can see this one will take more concentration because even though we might be really good at aleph through ches, it's a little tricky again if you didn't learn the aleph base till you were 22 or something. It's a little tricky again. So the breathing in is the same as the first one. We breathe in while thinking or visualizing or looking at the aleph base chart. Though I realize looking at it, the aleph base chart is a little tricky because you have those extra chafs, the extra mem. Don't get confused by those the langa chaf and the langa mem. But or you can write it out, whatever, because we are capable of writing out the aleph base. Okay, so we breathe in aleph through ches, hold tes through lamed, breathe out mem through tzaddik, and rest kuf reshin tuf aleph, a new aleph. Okay, so let's try it. If you find it's too hard, you can go back to the first one, but it's worth trying. It's more challenging. But the positive part of the more challenging is we really need to clear our minds. Like the idea of it is like it's a total clearing of the mind. There's no way to be thinking of anything else while doing this. It's just totally, and it's like, how can you be thinking anything else? So you can see the benefit of that. We need to be able to do something that totally clears our mind and at the same time gives us a lot of oxygen for those cells to make those ATPs and the Krebs cycle and all of those people who studied a little biochemistry. Okay, so let's just try that so everyone can have an idea of what it's like. And if you're feeling really frustrated, just go back to the first one. Okay, let us begin. Okay, so I'm sure everyone found that a little more challenging, but you can see it clears the mind, and these are holy letters. And it's good to know the alphabet quickly, right? Okay, so that's 3. So I'm going to give you another choice here. Choice 4. Choice 4 is a pasuk from Tehillim. It's the 20th kapitel, the 3rd line. It's I'll just read it and then we'll go over it. So it's Yishlach Ezracha Mekodesh Umitzion Yisadeka. That Hashem should send his help. He will send your help from holiness, and from Zion will come your support. Actually, let me get a better translation with my handy Lubavitch Tehillim. Okay. Gimel. May he send your help from the sanctuary, that's the Kodesh, and support you from Zion. Okay, that makes sense. Yishlach Ezracha, may he send your help from the sanctuary, that's the Kodesh is translated, or may he send your help from holiness and your salvation from Zion. Okay, so let's look at that. So, Yishlach Ezracha again has 8 letters. That's the inhale. Mikodesh is 4 letters. That's the hold. Umitzion is 6 letters. That's the exhale. And Yisadecha is 5 letters. That's the rest. So again, so this pasuk again has the pattern of chedva of ches, dalad, vav, hey, 8, 4, 6, 5. Okay. Yishlach Ezracha mikodesh umitzion yisadeka. Very nice. Okay, so let's try that one. Again, we're getting a lot of oxygen here. And so you can look at it in a Tehillim. If you have 20, is also in the Siddur. It's a popular kapitel. And or you could write it out, or you could look at the pasuk again. Yisrak Ezracha mikodesh umitzion yisadecha. Okay, let's try it. And you can go back if it's, go back to earlier ones if you want, but let's do the breathing. Okay, let's begin. Okay. So, I mean, I can see just in our doing it together, my exhaling is becoming much longer than it was when we first started. It is good to be breathing in longer, getting, to slow down the breathing is very calming on the nervous system, to be breathing in more deeply. And of course, we all know about that oxygen to all the cells. You can see they're all jumping up and down for joy. Joy. Chedva. Again, chedva is the cutting edge of joy, and we want to associate the cutting edge of joy with every breath. I mean, doesn't celebrate every breath. Look, I'm breathing another breath. This is incredible. We want to be excited about each breath. I'm breathing, I'm meditating. It's unbelievable. Okay. Okay, I'm going to give one more. Now this is the more advanced one. You have to be pretty quick, but we should have them all. Everyone should have them all. Okay. So now what we're going to do for this last one, yes, it's Tehillim. It's Kapitel 20, Pasuk 3. Just I see someone had a question about that. Maybe I'll just have a little sip of tea here while we're in between. Okay, so now I'm going to give you 4 pasukim, and as you might have guessed, the first one is going to have 8 letters, the second is going to have 4 letters, the third is words. The first is going to have 8 words, 4 words, 6 words, 5 words, just like Hedva. Okay, so get ready. A lot of these are quite famous pasukim. I think everyone will have heard of them. So the first one, the one that has 8 words, is Kikarav Elecha Hadavar Ma'od Bechficha Ulevavcha Lasoso. This is a pasuk from Chumash that the Alter Rebbe chose to put on the sharblat of the title page of Tanya. Let's go over it. The first word is Kikarav Halecha Hadavar Ma'od, because close to you is this thing, ma'od, a lot, because this thing is very close to you. Kikarav elecha hadavar ma'od, beficha, in your mouth, ubulvavavcha, in your heart, la'asoso, to do it. So, very important pasuk. It's in Chumash. Someone is having a little snack in between. All right. Kikarav elecha hadavar ma'od beficha levavcha lasoso. So that's 8 words, because in a very famous pasuk, Kikarav elecha hadavar ma'od beficha ulevavcha lasoso. This thing is very close to you. So where is the chapter and verse in Devorim? Oh, look, that was so fast. Thank you, Ilana. Look at that. Devorim 30, verse 14. Excellent. If you want, we can have a whole library. That could be helpful. That could be helpful. And it's a good pasuk to know by heart, since, the Alter Rebbe shows that of all the pasukim in all of Tanakh, to put it on the sharblat, the title page of Tanya. Because that's the whole idea of the Tanya, that being a Beinoni is actually very close to us. Beinoni for the moment is something we can all do. That's the thing that's very close. Okay. And then we'll review. The next one is from Tehillim, Shvisi Hashem Lenegdi Tamid, which is I place Hashem before me always, which is really how the Shulchan Aruch opens. I place Hashem before me always. And as many people have this as try to have this as the first conscious thought before saying Moda Ani, to just, I place Hashem before me always as a thought. Shavisi Hashem Lenegdi Samid. I think it's from Tehillim 16, could be Shvi. And it's also in all of those posters, with Hashem's name, Shavisi. Also, it's interesting, and it's very related to the last couple of days. The Shulchan Aruch begins with this Shvisi Hashem Lenegdi Samid, Tamid, and it ends with Tov Lev Mishtatami, when the question is, what should we do about Shushan Purim Katan? For Shushan Purim Katan, what should we do? And the Ramah ends Shulchan Aruch Orach Chaim. Oh, here we have from Milan again, Shvisi Hashem Lenegdi Samid is 16 verse 8. 16:8. Shvisi Hashem Lenegdi Samid. So it ends. So it begins. The Shulchan Aruch begins. I place Hashem before me always, and the Shulchan Aruch ends. A good-hearted person is always festive. Mishta Tamid. A good-hearted person is always festive. I think that's a very good way to end the Shulchan Aruch, because you think, God forbid, it could end, and if you don't do these things, you're going to be punished. No, it doesn't end that way at all. It ends that a good-hearted person is always festive. Tov Lev Mishta Tamid. Okay, but this one is Shvisi Hashem Lenegdi Samid, as the Shulchan Aruch begins. So that's the Daled, the holding. Again, so Kikar V'lecha Davar Ma'od B'ficha Levavcha La'asoso is the inhale with 8 words. Shvisi Hashem Lenegdi Samid is the holding. Now, breathing out is a really popular one. Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. 6 words. Okay, and the last one, okay, has everyone got that? The last one, we know it's going to be 5 words, right? And this is the rest before the next breath. And that's so Kol HaNeshama Tahalel Ko Hallelujah, which is how Tehillim ends. That's the end of the 150th chapter of Tehillim. That's how David HaMelech chose to end Tehillim. Every soul or every breath praises Hashem, Hallelujah. Kol HaNeshama Tahalel Ko Hallelujah. Very nice and happy ending, and that has 5 words. Okay, so let's review that, because you can see this is much trickier. Breathing up. Connection just went out. Does anyone see me or hear me? You see me and hear me. Okay. So I presume that everyone sees me and hears me. Okay, so the connection, okay, so thank God. I don't have to have a nervous breakdown in the middle of my breathing meditation. It didn't freeze. Okay, that is excellent. Okay, so let's do that review one more time. Kikarav Alecha Hadavar Ma'od is the inhale. Then Shvisi Hashem Lenegdi Samid is the hold. Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad is the breathing out. And Kol HaNeshama Tahalel Ko Hallelujah is the rest. You can see this has got to be, really on top of things. Takes some practice to do this one, but it's very holy. Okay, let's try our luck. And again, we're just going to do it for a few minutes, and you can go back and do a simpler one if it seems too confusing, but you have it in your notes. It's something we can all practice between. We'll talk about it. We'll go back to the Parsha, but we'll talk about this a little bit, because everyone's going to have a week of breathing to practice. Okay, so let's try it. Let's begin. Okay. So there we go. So this is Chedva breathing as taught by Rav Yitzhak. I Can I repeat the last one again? A request. Okay. So let's go over that last one more time and then so and Ilana maybe put up as I say it again, put up the source so people can make sure they have all the words right and check it on their own. So the first one, the inhale is Kikorav Elecha Hadavar Ma'od Beficha Levavcha Lasoso, which is from Devorim, and I guess it's in the chat, or if you want to put it up again on the screen, Ilana. So that's the Devorim. That's the inhale. And you can always check the Sharbla, the title page of Tanya, to see that pasuk Kikor V'lecha. Then we hold for Shvisi Hashem Lenegdi Samid, 4 words from Tehillim 16. Then we exhale for the 6 words of Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. And then the resting stage is Kol Hanashama Tahalel Ka Hallelujah. But when you're saying the words in your mind, you can actually say it as without the Ka thrown in. Now I'm just talking about it. And again, here's some sources coming from Ilana Kikor Valecha is from Devorim, chapter 30, verse 14. If you want to look it up there, that's cool. And the reason why we don't use just numbers, because even if we're going to do the simplest one of just breathing in Aleph through Ches, holding Aleph through Daled, breathing out Aleph through Vav, and resting Aleph through Hey, is the letters have a holiness. The Hebrew letters, Hashem created the world with the Hebrew letters. To do Roman numbers or whatever, Arabic numbers, it just loses a lot, even though I'm sure everyone can count 8 without any problem. It's lacking. We don't, you could do it. I mean, the thought police won't come around and arrest you if you want to do it with numbers, but I think we all know Aleph through Ches, or if we don't, with a little with a little practice, we can all get it down. And Shema Yisrael, again, I find out I actually know Shema Yisrael better than than Aleph through Ches. So let's just review the Shema Yisrael again. So inhale Shema Yisrael, hold while thinking Hashem's name as we say Yud Kei Vav Kei, breathe out Elokeinu, and rest for Hashem Echad. And that's I recommend everyone does some breaths of that while going to sleep, because it's good. We need to clear our minds before we go to sleep, and this is guaranteed to do it. So we have an excellent attendance today. I could send this picture to Rav Yitzhak for Refuah Shalema, with everyone learning his chedva, the enthusiastic crowd here to learn chedva breathing. We have 23 lovely Jewish people here. So if everyone could just get their get well smiles, come as you are, don't be shy. That's right. Come on, Pamela, Leah, Rachel, Peril, Tamar. This is the get well. Come on, Olivia. Let's see you. Jill, don't be shy. Come as you are, right side up, upside down, as long as you're breathing. Here we go. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Great. All right, so everyone should have a great week of deep breathing. And Amir Hashem, we'll get together next week. Thank you. I really enjoyed this. It's so good to do it all together. And have a wonderful week full of joy, chedva breathing, and see you next week, Amir Hashem. Shalom, shalom. Shavua tov.